Meeting to order. And first is net internet.
So I just need a nomination for the vice chair.
We are now live.
Ready?
Okay, Councillor Rebel.
Okay, Betty. I mean, you've been very reliable as chair, so if no one else is willing to do something, I'm willing to serve in that role, or I'm happy to nominate somebody else if there's someone who would be willing to do that if nominated. So I'm
Do we have
willing to take
anyone?
a chance.
So could I possibly get a mover and a seconder then for Councillor Rebel to act as the vice chair?
Okay, Lisa's moving. Seconder.
Okay, so we have moved by Ms. Henderson and seconded by Ms. Hunter. So are there any other nominations? And seeing none, if I could just get a motion to close nominations.
Alan. Seconder. Greg.
Okay, so I will turn the meeting back over to you, Ms. Hunter.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we need an adoption of the agenda. Is there any omissions, deletions, or anything that anyone wished to add to the agenda for today? Saying nothing, can I have a mover and a seconder that the agenda for the June 9th, 2022 meeting of the Community Development Advisory Committee be adopted? Lisa, seconder. Alan, thank you very much. Is there any disclosures of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, the adoption of the minutes of the minutes held that the minutes of the Community Development Advisory Committee meeting held April 14th, 2022 be adopted. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Lisa, seconder. Robert, thank you very much. And is there any questions or comments on the minutes that need to be discussed? Seeing none. Okay, so now we have Miss Ann Pritchard, Executive Director of the Frontenac Business Services, will provide a presentation on the food and beverage and Frontenac program. Ann, good to see you.
Nice to see
Go
you.
ahead, please.
Thank you very much to the committee for allowing me to speak today. Richard did ask me to speak on the food and beverage project that Frontenac Business Services is doing and continuing to do. And what I'd like to do is just start with a little background and then talk about the website itself. And a little bit later on, I'll ask someone from the county to actually put up the website. So by way of a little background, in 2011, I was approached by the economic developer from Prince Edward County who had decided there was identified an opportunity for developing artisan cheese businesses across the region. They historically had been very strong with well over 200 in Eastern Ontario. And together with Hastings and LNA Economic Development, we initially started something we called Invest in Cheese. Don't know quite where that name came from, but we developed a website for it and a handbook on how to start a cheese making business. And once we got into it, we realized how involved and expensive it was for someone to start a cheese business. And maybe we should put a focus more generally on food and beverage. So the following year, we rebranded as Food and Beverage, or FAB Region. And we sort of floundered for a year in terms of what our focus would be. And then we ended up focusing on craft brewing. And at the time, it was just at the beginning of when people were starting to do craft craft beer. We developed an award-winning iPad application. We also, that ended up being the focus for OMAFRA to develop what they called a business bundle to help people start craft brewery. We had a number of workshops, and some of the people who actually attended those workshops ended up starting craft breweries, such as the Signal Craft Brewery over in Hastings. And we saw approximately 10 craft breweries start in Prince Edward County, 2 in LNA and 2 in Hastings. As you know, Prince Edward in the last number of years has really grown exponentially with the food, the beverage, the wine, the craft brewery. So they decided they no longer wanted to have an initiative to attract more food and beverage businesses. And so then Hastings and LNA stepped down from that project. The board of what was then Frontenac CFTC wanted to continue to include food and beverage as one of our strategic areas of focus. When we first started the project back like 11 years ago, I was only aware of one food and beverage producer in the county of Frontenac other than maple syrup and honey producers. And now there's approximately 21 in the area. The attraction of seed to sausage is a direct result of the Fab Region project, and it can in part be attributed for the Back 40 artisan cheese as well. And then other food and beverage producers like Limestone Organic Creamery, they were strongly supported by the initiative itself. Our intention was to start the food and beverage Frontenac project in 2020, and we got a little sidelined by having to be able to deliver pandemic relief programming, which I'm sure you can all appreciate the amount of work that went into that. And then in 2021, we got sidelined with a lot of the shutdowns, so we weren't able to get our photography done. So we actually launched April of this year. So maybe I could have someone bring up the fabfrontenac.ca website. We can take a look at that. Maybe, maybe not.
Oh, I will screen share. Just give me one moment here.
Sure. Well, I can continue on. So we built our new website around the question, what makes Frontenac the ideal home for successful food and beverage business? And we'll just wait for that first homepage to pop up. There we go. Can you scroll to the top of the page? Because it's just missing that first image. But anyway, that gives you an idea of what it is we're doing. And if you can scroll down a little bit to some of there's the stories. So maybe click on the one for Fine Chocolate by Ludwig, because, you know, who's not hungry first thing in the morning here? I see a few of you nibbling as it is. So what we've done is we tell the story through having visitors to the site meet our local food and beverage entrepreneurs. And we ask the entrepreneurs to tell us about their product. How did they launch their business? What help they receive from Frontenac Business Services? What's special about doing business in Frontenac? And what tips they have to share with someone thinking to start about a business. We currently have 10 stories on the site and one more fully completed waiting for a client to sign off, and 4 more in the wings that are being written and photographed. So you can see we've got some really wonderful photography here. This is by a Frontenac photographer, Susie Lamont. And we've kept the same format for all of the stories. And if you can go back to that homepage again, please. And if you scroll down a little bit more, there should be some products. So you'll just see the featured products. So we've got the beer, we've got chocolate, we've got marmalade. So we use this site to showcase some of the wonderful products being produced in an effort to promote them to both residents and to retailers. And the Cheesecakery Bakery, you timed that perfectly. I was just going to mention, so we've been working with them for a number of years. They used to literally pack the little cheesecakes in a thermos and throw them in the back of their trunk and drive them around to the retailers to sell them. She's now selling as far away as Guelph, and she has 90 retailers selling her products. So last year she actually had to invest in a refrigerated truck. And then and I never say their name right, Boreal Brewing changed their name to Aurora's Botanical Brewing. I probably haven't said that right. And they're distributing now right across Canada. So you can buy their products anywhere from Whitehorse over to Nova Scotia and also in a few of the states. If you scroll down a little bit, it talks about how we fully support the businesses. So we provide business information. So we've created a frequently asked question and resources page on this site. So they've specifically geared to the food and beverage business, and we hired someone who has expertise in packaging to talk about sustainable packaging, because environment is very near and dear to Frontenac businesses. And we also provide our business counseling. So again, we refer them back to Frontenac Business Services. My colleague Jason Brown has some great expertise in marketing and sales. And our newer colleague, Lauren Reed, is a CPA. And so she's really able to help them develop some really robust cash flow projections. We also provide loans, and we've developed what we call, it's a special FAB loan. And what we're doing with that is if they borrow money to start or grow a food and beverage business, we are offering to include them on this website, and we cover the cost of having that professional story written and also the photography. And then for a nominal fee, they can use that photography on their own site. It's a fee that they pay as a user fee to the photographer. On the right-hand side, you'll see something called the Foodie Mentor Program. Sorry, just back where you were beside the loans, but on the right-hand side, it says the Foodie Mentor Program. So when we first started looking at this project, we had a number of the entrepreneurs saying that they would be willing to speak with others who are considering to start a food and beverage business. And we weren't quite sure what to call that. So we've called it the Foodie Mentor Program. And we provide some opportunities for people to get connected. And we do that actually on a pretty regular basis. And we're just currently getting our social media for this up and running. And we anticipate having a lot of the existing businesses being able to help us share the content on that. You can take the site down if you'd like, and I can just tell you a little bit about why we are looking at FAB as a strategic reason. The reason I've encouraged the board, and they continue to support it, unless Betty might have other comments as well, but is for the economic impact. It creates and has a potential to create year-round, which I think is really important, year-round employment, and an employment that can offer a living wage. And so both of those things are near and dear to my heart and to the Frontenac Business Services. Many of our seasonal clients really have difficulty in finding seasonal employees. So if they can hire someone year round, that's great. As well, the food experience dovetails nicely with the county's focus on tourism. And we don't have to look any further than Back 40 Artisan Cheese. I remember going to their initial opening, and if anyone's been to Back 40 Artisan Cheese, it's out there. And I was shocked to see 1,400 cars, or people there, I should say. We had to walk a kilometer in from the road to get to the opening. And I was just totally amazed. I mean, that's a grand opening for a new business, and to have that kind of traction was amazing. So the owner, Jeff Fenwick, found people were driving all the way from Quebec to come and buy his cheese. And he felt it a little badly, he said, because they came all that way and there was nothing for them to do. So now what he's done is he's cut trails through his property out to the KMP trails that the county's developed, and he offers snowshoe rentals in the winter. He also cut some ski trails there. He lets them use tobogganing down his hill. And so there's more of an experience. He's now hired a chef, and he'll be having more food experiences in the summer months once the black fly season leaves, which he tells me is June 17th. So he'll be offering that. And he also supports the other businesses, which I find really happens in the food sector. So he is selling Sita sausage. He's selling David and Sons fine condiments there. He sells fine chocolate by Ludwig. He also has some honey, I think, there as well. So they're really supportive of one another. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the county. They provided us with $5,000 last year towards this project, and that helped us bring 2 more people onto the website by paying for the writing and the photography, as well as one of the videos. We are planning in the near future to also have sort of an overall video as a, I come to Frontenac to start a business, and that'll be showcased. We're just waiting to get a little bit more of the photography done, and we're doing little clips of the video there. If the county wanted to invest more money in this project, I always have to ask. One of the things that we could look to do is Jason and I are doing some research on getting some digital lead generation to try and encourage more people both to our organization and into the particular sectors, and that would be something we could do. Or we could also use funds to bring more people onto the website itself. So I hope I stayed in my time slot, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions, Alan?
Your mic's
You're
on.
muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Anne. Anne, you and I have had a bit of a discussion in the past about business directories. And I'm just wondering, I know the county has a business directory, and I believe at one point you also maintain some form of business directory. I guess the question really is, since you're making the presentation, there are at least a couple of businesses that you mentioned that I don't know anything about and never heard of before. And I'm wondering, I guess, are the business directories that we have comprehensive enough? Are they easy enough to navigate? Do people know they're out there to support the businesses that are there? Because some of them look very appealing and would be of interest to me to participate in and share in their business success. So can you comment on that, please?
Certainly. We no longer do a business directory. The county has partnered with the Frontenac News to offer a business directory. And so we support that, and we encourage our clients to join that directory. And in my mind, it's better to have one central location for a directory that all of us can refer clients to, and that we're not all scrambling to try and keep those current, because there is a lot of work to them. We do attempt to provide, promote local businesses. We do have a very, very limited budget. And so we do the best that we can in doing the promotion. And I know we could do better, quite frankly. I don't know if
Thank you. So thank you. A supplement or a different question maybe, but we're considering looking at a tourism resource to support some of our economic development. Is that something that Frontenac Business Services would be able to provide in some capacity?
What does that mean?
Well, it's coming up as one of our next projects. So as part of our overall business development plan, a destination plan, we're considering at least hiring a body or an organization to assist in the tourism stuff, and whether that would be an opportunity for Frontenac Business Services to participate or contribute. You don't have to answer that right now, but it's just something that.
Yeah, we can certainly look at it. We are pretty stretched. We're 2.5 people.
Okay.
2 people in 14 hours a week. So, we've got a fair bit on our plate. So it would be something we could certainly present to the board for their consideration. I should also mention that Jeff Green from Frontenac News is launching a new publication that name escapes me, but it is talks about food, agriculture, and tourism. Debbie probably knows the name as well. So that's another vehicle for getting the word out about these things as well.
Thank you, Anne.
I think Marilyn had a question.
Marlene, yeah.
Oh, Marlene, sorry.
Marlene? That's all right.
Thanks. Maybe this isn't for you, Anne, but it sort of speaks a little bit to what Alan said about a directory. And I found as I was driving around Frontenac and Lanark for a lot of reasons last month, campaigning, that I often wanted to know what might be in that area that I was heading to. And so it speaks to using mapping services as opposed to a directory per se, where you have a catalog and you read down through them, so that you could go to a map. And so maybe it's not for business services to set up, but it might tie in with the other project that Alan's talking about, that you go to the map and you go, oh, there's food and beverage things in this area, and there's this other kind of business, and they're coded with little icons or whatever. And you would know that there's a cluster of things in that area that I'm visiting this weekend, or I'm going to visit my mother-in-law at the nursing home. And while I'm there, oh, I'll check on this business, because often you don't, like I've read through directories and I go, oh, I didn't know about that. Well, I'll have to think about it the next time I'm in that part of the county. And then I forget about it the next time I'm in because the directory is somewhere else. But the mapping kind of thing would be a unique way to, I see Debbie nodding. So maybe somebody's already thought of this and I should shut up.
Halliburton does an excellent job with that. And instead of mapping per se, they have actual signs. So I know, like, I sometimes travel up that way to go visit family. And so you'll see the same look and feel of a sign for artisans. Debbie knows that area better than me, for artisans or that sort of thing. And I know many, many years ago when Diana Bertina was the economic development developer for the County of Frontenac, we funded a project for the county on strategic directional signage, which would have the same look and feel. So there would be a similar sign and it would have like an icon for example, the artisans or the food producers, but have the same look. And I think as nice as maps are, I know when I'm driving, you just see that sign. It's like, oh, Potter. I didn't know they were here. Maybe I'll go in and see that Potter. So, and I know they're doing that with the trails. So maybe that's part of your discussion a bit later, but it's also nice from the roadside to see that kind of signage. But I just want to make one more comment. Even like I find, as well as I like to think I know the businesses, I'm always floored by the number that I don't know, because they're home-based businesses. They have no signage, and it's really hard to get a handle on those businesses. Sorry, Debbie.
So
Thank you very much. I was just going to expand a little bit on Marlene's question, and thank you for flagging that. That is included in the destination development plan as a really important part of the plan, the wayfinding and all of those elements, the mapping and the business directory piece. So definitely thank you for flagging that as a way that you enjoy navigating areas. I think that's really helpful, but also definitely something identified in that plan. So in the next report that we're going to be discussing, I didn't mean to stop the conversation around this report, but and I'm not by any means, but I just wanted to flag that as definitely something we are looking at. And the name of the guide that Frontenac News is coming out with is the Frontenac Guide, and it's a collaborative. They're bringing together the makers and growers into one guide. So we've been working with them on that. So looking forward to seeing the proof very soon, and it should be out fairly soon, as like later June is what their anticipated timeline. So, and thank you for all of the comments. It's very helpful to hear the feedback.
Okay, and I have one comment. I was in LNA, which I am often, and they have tear sheets, and I don't know if you've seen them. I'm going to try, and it looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
And on the back, it has it all in. Can you see it?
Yeah, they have a QR code.
They have QR codes with different titles like birds, cycling on paved roads, paddling, mountain bikers, explored on Echo, local wine, stargazing, hiking trails, and that type of thing, all on QR codes. And I thought it was an interesting piece of advertisement that's, like I say, just on tear sheets in the local stores and with a map and everything. That might be something that Frontenac might look to do to help promote a lot of these things that people don't know about that exist.
LNA does a great job with their promotion. If you don't,
Yes, they do.
they do a newsletter you get every Thursday morning, and it highlights sort of a trail and a business and that sort of thing. And
Yeah,
back to Betty's comment, I've also seen, instead of the tear sheets like that, I've seen them as placemats at restaurants with a little map and how you get to all the things. So it's
Yeah.
kind of neat too.
yeah, this one I just picked up the other day, so I don't know if it's new out, but at a business in Northbrook. And I thought it was a great source of advertising, and it's got dine-in, shopping, places to stay, all of that on the bottom of that. So it's a
Bet-
great.
Betty, may I ask Alan which businesses were new to him?
I think you said the jams, marmalade was showing, or
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Henderson Farms.
yes. I don't know where they are, but they sound appealing.
Yeah, they're on Wolf Island, and they have been the grand champion jam maker for the Royal Winter Fair probably 4 or 5 times. They usually come home with 4 or 5 awards each and every year, and he's been doing it for a long time, probably 20 years or more.
Thank you. But I think there's lots of those kinds of businesses that many of us are maybe not aware of. And if I'm having to drive into Kingston or Perth or somewhere else to access something, but it's here being produced locally, I would far rather support a local business if I knew they existed. So to me, that's something that would be helpful to get out in greater circulation.
Go to the website. The food that Anne is putting together now, and it's a great source and tell you quite a bit about the businesses.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Anne? Well, I thank you.
Thank you very
Anne.
much. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you for the information. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. Okay, so now we're on to reports, and I've got Richard written down for all of them, but I guess Richard's not here, so Debbie's the person. I'll change Richard to Debbie. So this is a report for information on the food and beverage in Frontenac program and an update from Debbie. Thank you.
Thank you. So we just heard the update from Anne with regards to the website. And was there any additional comments that you wanted to pass along that we need to consider from the economic development perspective? Thank you for the feedback that you provided during the conversation. I've taken lots of notes, so very helpful.
Okay.
And helpful to share places that you've seen additional advertising promo that you found beneficial as well, because I think it's always helpful to hear how people consume information as well. So thank you for sharing that, Betty, as well.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other comments on food and beverage? I think it's been a wonderful initiative in the county, and has produced a lot of good jobs and businesses that are getting us known across Canada and into the United States. So it's great work. Okay, now then, the 5-year implementation plan. So we have a motion, and it's be it resolved that the Council of the County of Frontenac endorse the Frontenac County Destination Development Plan implementation described in report 2022-59, which is included in your package. If I can have a mover or seconder, and then we can talk about it. Lisa, thank you. Greg, thank you. Okay, Debbie.
Thank you very much. And just further to some of the comments that I've already provided, and just from hearing some of the comments as well from Councillor Ravel and Marlene as well, just around the importance of the business directory piece and the importance of wayfinding as well. So on April 20th, the County Council passed and moved a motion that we would bring back a report with a detailed implementation plan to this committee for conversation to look at. So the implementation plan is attached over 5 years. We've gone through the implementation and looked at each of the topics and tried to put them in the place that we felt, based on resourcing, was the best location to place them. Obviously up for conversation if somebody feels there needs to be something in a different place. We've also included in the report, you can see the talking about the importance of the consistent branding and the consistent pieces, the funding around it. So having a resource in tourism, definitely an important part of this project in order to carry the pieces forward for sure. And I think that was really highlighted throughout the destination development plan, is the importance of the resource in order to complete this work and move this work forward, to work with partners, to work with others around the county as well. So the other part too that's included in the report is the Tourism Relief Fund for 2022 that we've applied for. I do not have an update to provide to you on that funding at this point, but we did apply for the funding, and there was 3 buckets within the funding that we applied for. When we looked at the complete plan, we determined that there's some really foundational pieces that were really important to bring forward and move forward in 2022 that will help support the entire destination development plan. So establishing a tourism brand, it doesn't mean rebranding the county, but establishing a tourism brand that we can use to move forward, that businesses can use, and that is going to get to our external groups. So that was a big part. Developing a visitor experience on destination trails. So again, that's talking about the wayfinding piece, the business directory piece that we've just mentioned earlier as well. So those pieces, and then the resource that would also help to bring those pieces together. So that was the bulk of the funding request. The funding is the grant is open and it closes before the end of the year. So the work has to be done in 2022. So once we hear back, we'll be able to move forward with that piece. But as you can see through the couple of pages with the implementation plan as well, we've detailed and added comments to the side of that speak to, where we've prioritized things, and some things are already moving forward. There's lots of great work that's happening across the county and with partners. And then there's some pieces that we had to prioritize later in the 5 years because just based on resources, certain things are further along and certain things we felt we needed to move forward with a little bit later because unfortunately with the resources we have, we can't move it all forward at the same time. So I'm open to questions or thoughts or comments. And if there's any other feedback from there or questions for clarity on certain things. So thank you for the opportunity.
Questions? Can I go first? I have a couple of questions. And I don't know who would know this for sure, but is the Frontenac Arch Biosphere still an active entity? Because they used to do a lot on tourism. And I know that they would allow North Frontenac to be part of it because we are part of Frontenac County. And they did things on artisans and all types of different booklets. And I'm just wondering, I haven't heard much about them for the last few years, if they are still active. Does anyone know that? Alan?
Betty, they are. They're still in existence, but I think they're perhaps don't any longer enjoy the funding level that they maybe did before. I'm not sure they're doing much in tourism promotion at this point, but rather focusing on their own criteria for the support of the biosphere itself. And they do some public summer programs for children, but that's much of the outreach that I'm aware of that they do.
Okay, I was just wondering if we should, be reaching out to them if there's any opportunity to partner with them. Made in Frontenac tags, do we still have those, still do those, the Frontenac tags? And are they actively in circulation? I know I've used them and on some of my products, and people will notice and they say like, where did you get those? So I think it's really good to advertise that we are made in Frontenac. So I was wondering if that's still an active, I know that, yes, Debbie, sorry.
Sure, no, for sure. And thank you for that question. They are still available. We do have them available for businesses to request. And as we need more, we can absolutely have those made. And just going back to the Frontenac Arch Biosphere piece, I think as we explore the destination development plan, we will absolutely explore any partnerships that we can across all of, whether it's the RTOs or it's the neighboring areas with trails and things like that. So I think any opportunity to connect on pieces for sure. So thank you for those comments.
Okay, I appreciate it. And I was wondering, do you promote the Frontenac tags, especially to our artisans and our food distributors, that it's definitely defined that they are made in Frontenac? Because I think that's what, part of our strategic plan moving forward should be, everything should be marked made in Frontenac.
For sure. We do have it included on our website and in our ambassador handbook. We can absolutely make a point of increasing some awareness on social media as well with the tags, and then we can for sure go from there. But that's really helpful. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Robert.
Yeah. Hi, Deb. Great presentation. I just, having a bit of experience in technology business, have you, looking back 5 years, I can't imagine kind of choosing a technology environment that would be relevant today. And in some ways, we're being expected to look forward 3 to 5 years. And there's probably technology that is being developed today that will be obsolete in 5 years. So do you have a technology advisory committee, or, you mentioned social media. I was struck with the previous comment that the Artisan Cheese Factory had 1,400 people at their launch. Did we end up with 1,400 email addresses or 1,400, Twitter accounts? That's kind of the way we have to kind of start thinking about stickiness and communication and things like that. What's the overall plan for creating a technology platform that's adaptable over time to support this, I guess, is the question.
Thank you, Robert, for your comments. And we currently don't have a technology advisory committee, but that is a very great comment to receive. I think Richard and I have had many conversations about, collecting data so that we can share information with people, so people are able to learn more about what's happening in the county. I think those are all really important considerations as we move forward with each of these pieces. And I think those are all parts of what this tourism resource, part of what they would be doing in collaboration with both what Richard and I are doing now, but just trying to build that out to be more robust and considering technology and how long it is sustainable for. And I completely 100% agree with your comment about what would we have chosen 5 years ago and how do we look forward for those things. But I think it's the pulling the information and looking at the best case scenario for what the requirements are, how we're going to be able to communicate, how we collaborate, and how we're able to communicate both internally but externally as well. So I don't have a definitive answer for you on that, but I really do like the idea of the tech advisory committee because I think everybody brings a different element that they're looking at things, whether it's from a communications perspective, it's a technical perspective, or a GIS mapping perspective, that they know about certain things. So I think those are all really important considerations and very valued comment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I think we do have within the county some resources through universities and colleges and things like that.
Sure.
And certainly I would think the Frontenac business folks are kind of looking at those types of things. I think the most important thing is make sure we have something that's built-in flexibility. When something else comes along, a new social media kind of thing that everybody's hopping on, that our database is able to kind of be massaged and be connected to that, because that's the only thing that's going to be certain is something's going to be different. And we don't want to be anchored into something that doesn't have flexibility. So, and I'd certainly help kind of want to participate in that discussion.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Other comments, Alan?
A question, if I may, through Madam Chair, through to Debbie. Debbie, when you look at the dedicated tourism resource, can you elaborate a little bit on how you see that and how it might be funded? What are our options for funding for that resource?
Sure. So I'll speak a little bit about what the resource would do. So the big costs really within the destination development plan, the website, the mapping tools, so the infrastructure to support this. And the resource would be, the person who would be putting the information together, connecting with different tourism groups, with different tourism operators within our area, and other operators, not just tourism operators, but I think about food and beverage, I think about the trails piece and all of those pieces, to pull all of this information together, to be developing the relationships, to be watching for events and things like that as we're looking to is there larger events that are coming, developing the relationships on multiple levels, that they would be bringing these pieces together, and they would be that point of contact that would be able to be compiling experiences, so that when people come to Frontenac County, they're coming and they're able to find these experiences. They're able to learn how to navigate. We're staying connected with the wayfinding around the county, posting on social, sharing on social, the marketing piece, the regional marketing piece. Like, there's multiple layers to that. So I think there's a lot involved in that role, and what they would be responsible for. The data piece, the technical side from the back end of the website, and maintaining the information once you have it is a large piece too, and making sure that we're keeping up to date and having the right tool that allows us to keep that up to date. So there's multiple pieces there. From the budget perspective, I know that there would be a proposal coming to County Council, and I'll let Joe speak a little bit to the budget there. Thank you, Joe.
Joe?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you to Councillor Revelle. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Frontenac County budget process, every year when we go in front of County Council, each department has to have a business plan delivered to Council, and it's a 5-year vision. And the Destination Development Plan is a 5-year vision. As if you go outside your budget envelope, which you're approved every year, then you have to ask Council to make adjustments to your budget. And formally, we submit what's called a project proposal for any kind of planning study we do, or adding additional staff resources. We have to make our case in front of Council with our business plan and lay out why the investment is necessary or valid. So what will be happening is, when we go to Council, the new Council for the 2023 budget, we will be going to Council and asking that this position be created in our Economic Development Department. And just to give you a bit of context, Frontenac County, even though we've had planning and economic development now for 6 years, we still have the lowest per capita county investment in economic development. That's salaries, programming, trail signage, etc., of any of our neighboring counties. We're still behind them. So you heard Ann Pritchard this morning talk about some of the work that Lennox and Addington does, including weekly emails and all that. Well, they have 2.5 or 3 more staff than we do. So we're trying to catch up. The Destination Development Plan makes it clear that we're at a point now where we've built the programs and the business and the brand ambassadors together, that this position is no longer a part-time position for either Debbie or Richard. And I think you're going to see this year with the trail which we've been building, and we hope to have completed through to North Frontenac in the next year or two with finalizing land acquisition. It's now going to become not just a recreational trail, but a major tourist destination. And I can have Debbie talk more about it, but we're about to release a mobile app at the end of the month that kind of talks about what Marlene mentioned earlier and what Betty's mentioned earlier. I don't understand QR codes or anything, but Debbie can. We're going to have a trailhead opening in Verona at the end of June. You're going to see a lot of signage go up in the next few months with business signage up. The trail is becoming one of our core tourist destinations. And if you look at the report that Richard put together under the background section, it lays out why this position we think is necessary for collaborating all that. So it's a long answer to your question, Councillor Ravel, but the funding will hopefully be supported by County Council in the 2023 budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Marlene?
Thanks. I actually answered my own question because I flipped through the document in a little bit more detail, which I hadn't had time to do before the meeting. And I might not have asked my first question had I read the document as thoroughly as I did. But it was really about making sure there was Indigenous connections. And I see in the other link with the detailed plan that's there. So my question has been answered.
Thank you very much. Is there any other questions? Okay, so we had a mover and a seconder for the resolution. Is anyone opposed to the resolution or any other comments that you wanted to make? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Okay, so now we're on to Charlotte Lake Downtown Revitalization. Debbie.
Thank you very much. Through you, Madam Chair. The Charlotte Lake Downtown Revitalization Plan, this is just an update that this was passed at their council. So we just wanted to bring this back to this group because I know that you've been following it and there was an earlier report earlier this year. So just sharing that for awareness. And I'm not sure if there was anything else to ask of that group. So.
Did anyone have any comments about the Charlotte Lake Downtown Revitalization report? Seeing none. Okay, we will move on. Countywide Community Improvement Plan, the CIP update. Again, Debbie.
Thank you very much, Betty. So the countywide CIP or Community Improvement Plan, as everybody is aware that we've started to have our initial meetings. We had 4 focus groups out in the county. We met in person. They were a hybrid option, so we had in person and people were able to call in online. So we had great conversations to talk about the economic development priorities in the county. That was in just after the long weekend in May. So those have gone well. So currently the consultant is reviewing the comments that were received and looking at the priorities. And there will be a session to come back to kind of outline what we've heard, but also just to reaffirm that this is, these are the economic development priorities for the county for the next little while. So that session will be happening. So this was just an update report just to check in, to talk about where this project is at, and going very well. Happy with the work that the consultants are doing. So I'm not sure if there's any further comments or questions on that one.
Any questions on the CIP? Or any of the sessions? Anything? No? Okay. Thank you very much, Debbie. A lot of report today. So I don't have any communications or other business. Is there anything else that I've missed that anyone wanted? Okay, so our next meeting will be Thursday, August 11th at 10 a.m. And we'll see if it's in person, if we have that opportunity, or if it'll be Zoom. That will be determined as we move forward. So I thank all of you for all your participation and wish you a wonderful day. And I'll talk to you later. See you August 11th.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sorry, need a motion to adjourn. Hi, sorry, Betty, we just need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, sorry,
I'll
motion
do
to
that.
adjourn. Marlene. Lisa. Got it. Sorry.